Good afternoon, guys. And here's another one for the DIY woodworking. I'm gonna make a ladder for blankets this weekend with tools you see right here. Now, I could use my chop saw and everything, but I wanted to do this to show that you can do it with minimal tools. Now, I've got a skill saw. Mine happens to be cordless, but it doesn't matter if it's cordless or not. I'm gonna use a drill so I can pre-drill my holes so I don't split my wood out. And then I will use a screwdriver, or you can even put it with a screwdriver in your hand. Of course, you got to have a square, make sure that everything's straight, and a little glue. So let's get started. Stick around to the end of the video and I'll have a picture of my diagram that I went off of, and you can use those dimensions to make you one too. So all I did was I went to the box store and just got me some 2x2 furlings. Going through and finding some good semi-straight ones sometimes could be fun, but I didn't even like this stuff right here. I'm not worried about that because I want it to look rustic. I want it to look a little rough, so as long as it was semi-straight, that's all I cared about. If it was a little rough looking, it didn't matter to me. So to start off, you always want to pick one end that you want, and you want to square that end up because these things will never be 100% square. So I'll take a speed square and mark it. Now I'm going to cut these. And a little trick that you can use, let me see if I can bring you in closer. Now I've got a straight line right here that I could just line up and slide out, cut off. Another little trick you can do is take your speed square, put it on there square, set your fence against it, get to where you're going to cut, and as you go forward you just follow your speed square and they'll hold it straight for you. Just like that. These two are going to be my upright legs, and I need them to be 74 inches long. So I'm going to mark them 74, and then I'm going to cut them. And all of my crossbars, I want them to be 18 inches long, so I need 5 of them on this one I'm building. You could do 5, 4, whatever you want, but I'm going to put 5 of them, so I'm going to cut 5 boards 18 inches long. Now I'll be able to get 2 of them off the drops out of that one piece. Case in point, you kind of see how this is really rough and bended. Actually, you'd be surprised when that gets on there. I'll put it to the bottom side. it'll add a lot of character into it. Now, as I'm cutting off of this longboard, I will measure each one separately, and the reason is, as you cut, you're going to cut and lose that almost an eighth inch of the thickness of that saw blade. So if I just marked 18 inches, I would end up being the last two a little short. So, hope you can see these. There are some that are perfect, some that are not, and some are just colored. Some got some nicks in them. But that all, to me, adds just character to that thing. So I've got all of my crossbars marked, cut. So now I want to take my two legs and mark out the spacing for the boards. Now I want to look at these and I want to decide. See how these have got rounded in, got square? So I'm going to make sure this is to the outside. So I'm going to put it up. And same here, I want this to the outside. So I got both the outsides pointed up. I want to mark my spacing. So to the top of the rung, I got 6 inches, 19.5 inches, 33, 47, and I want 61. Now those are to the top of the 2x2s. So in actuality, I need my holes to be 3/4 inch below that. So now I've got a drill bit that's just almost the same size as my screws, just a hair smaller. I want to pre-drill all these. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to transfer this top line all the way around. The reason I want to do that is that when I get to putting on the 2x2s, it makes it a whole lot easier to tell where I need to be. So I'll use my speed square. Transfer that around. Now I'm just marking this kind of lightly, because I will do just a light sanding on this thing just to get rid of really rough splinters. But I'm not gonna finish sanding it because I do want that, like I said, we want that rustic look. So now I'm gonna screw it together. I'm just gonna use some 2.5 inch drywall screws. I'm gonna use my table here. This can be the hardest part, is trying to hold all this by yourself. I found this is one of the best way to do it. Now I'm also going to put a little bit of wood glue on there. And the only reason I'm doing this is once it dries, it just kind of keeps it from trying to spin. The screw is what's going to hold all the weight. I found it's one of the best things to do is to go ahead and run your screw down in. So get everything lined up. Get the screw down in there. Let's double check everything real quick. Let's see how it's kind of pulled out there a little bit. I finished it out by and I will bury that screw a little bit, that way it's not sticking out. So there's the first leg on. Like, see how it kind of turned a little bit? All you gotta do is back it up a little bit, and once that glue dries, it'll keep it from turning. Now I'm ready to put the rest of them on. Here's a little trick that I forgot to mention on the first one. This will help hold it. The last one always is the funnest one to get, seems like. You gotta tighten one side and loosen the other so it'll move. Now the other side is always easier. Shoot. The two tricks here is, one, make sure you're lining up to the right ones, not got it upside down, and then now you got a long and a short and a short and a long. And then the second thing that I've learned to do, one year I made almost 15 of these for Christmas presents. Got to where I could do them pretty quick. Start my screws both at the top and the bottom, and then I go and put just a little bit of glue on each one of these. Like I said, mostly what the glue is for is just to help these keep from turning once everything's together. So I want to get it somewhat close. Start down here, because that's where I started. Hold it on the line. Now run it in. You'll notice I back it back out, because when you first when you first start that screw, it's going to want to lift the board. And that's why I back it back out and put it back down. And you'll have to adjust each one of these a little bit. Part of the reason is because you cannot, it's very hard to find these 2x2s that are 100% square, straight as can be. So you have to kind of just work with it the best you can. Remember, these are supposed to look rustic, so they won't look like a perfectly square board. All right, there. So there it is together. As you can see, it don't take too long at all. What I'll do now is just sand it, get rid of my markings, and I want to get rid of just all I'm trying to do is get rid of these little rough spots where it's splintering off, so it doesn't catch on your hands and on your blankets. And once I get that done, I'll put a little stain on it. So let's get to sanding. Now you could take sandpaper and hand sand this, but for timeline, and I've got a little 5-inch orbital sander, and I'm only going to put 80 grit on here. Like I said, I'm not looking for a finished sand, I'm just wanting to knock some of the rough stuff off. So I'm going to get staining. I hope you can see how this works. As this sets, it'll kind of show up. And I'm not worried about getting it 100% even. Like I said, I want this to kind of look rustic, so all this stain that I've made does is causes it to do the oxidation, but like for aged wood, kind of rust it. It will help it kind of seal, but it doesn't 100% seal it. Like if you had a polyurethane on here, it'd be sealed 100%. And if you wanted to, you can go behind this after this dries and use polyurethane and seal it 100% and give it as much shine as you want. And the cool thing about it is this will interact with the grain in different colors.
Hi, Whit. How are you?
Doing good. One of the big difference with this homemade is that you don't have to go back right behind it and wipe it off. It's a water base, and it's made to set and soak in and just evaporate back off. And it really works good with the boards that were, as you can say, not perfect and rough. It just brings a lot of that out. Well, I ran out of battery as I was finishing the staining up, but I think you got the gist of it. And as you can see, it's already, I mean, this is maybe 10 minutes after I've done all of it. It oxidizes, it'll turn it kind of a red. You can use tea first and a little bit of that stuff and it'll turn a gray. I kind of like this rustic red look. I just wanted to bring this simple little blanket ladder to you. And there's several ways to make them. This one's simple, like I said, it's just 2x2s. I've seen them made out of 2x4s or 1x4s, and they'll take another board and put it a sliding nail across there. You can take, instead of using square, you could buy a round and put the round across here and change it that way. Now I've made this one really tall because we got lots of blankets. That's why there's 5 rungs, but you can make it shorter and only do 4 runs, 3 runs. You know, you just make it how you want to. And right here I'm going to put in the drawing plans, the one that I've made right here. So guys, thanks for coming along with me on this DIY woodworking. And let me tell you that, now it's not Christmas time, but they make a really good Christmas present. I've given them as actually wedding presents. I've sold a few, and they're kind of nice. The one I like about this one is it is pretty sturdy, but yet, I mean, light. So I hope you enjoyed this. Reach down there, hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button, and leave a comment down there. Tell me what you got, even if you can. I believe you can, but I'm not sure. I haven't tried it. But add a picture if you've done one of these down in the comments. And we thank you so much for all you're doing and watching our videos. And do what you can where you are. Thanks, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.